So today we're going to be talking about rational exponents and radicals. This is going to be basically talking about putting a exponent as a fraction. That's what rational means. Rational numbers can be written as fractions. So you're going to see an exponent that is going to be in fraction form. We're going to show you how that's connected to the radicals, how to convert from one to the other and back again. So hopefully you'll be able to convert through these different things as we go through this. Let's go ahead and get started and show you what we're talking about. So first things first, guys, when you look at this, we're going to be turning a radical. This is a radical. We've done these before. It's what we've had in the last two sections. We've done lots of warm-ups on these as well. We're going to turn them into what we call a rational exponent, an exponent that can be written as a fraction. So when you see a radical like this, the number underneath it is called the radicand. The one that is out here is called the index. That's like square root, cubed root, whatever it is as far as what root it is. And then it's also going to have an exponent on the outside out here. When you rewrite this radical as a radicand with this out here as a rational exponent, you're going to keep that number that is underneath here, and you're just going to write it as a number out here. You just take these two things and you write them as a fraction. So the exponent always goes on top, so the one on the outside goes on top. The one in front of it goes on the bottom. That index goes on the bottom. That's a big way of saying basically take this, guys, whatever number's on the outside out here and whatever number on the inside right here are going to be written as a fraction. The inside one goes on top, the outside one goes on the bottom. Alright, so let's show you what we mean. Right here, you've got 625 and m inside of a parentheses. This 3 needs to be applied to both of them. That's going to make it 625 to the third power and m to the third power. To write it in rational exponent form, you're just going to write them as fractions. You're just going to write it as 625 to the 3/4 because the inside one goes on top, the outside one goes on the bottom. Then we do it again for the m. The m's got a 3, and then the outside is a 4. So it's 3/4 for both of them. Grab your calculators, guys. You've done this before. This is not new. We've typed numbers with fractions as exponents before. Type 625. The exponent button, which is going to be that y to the x. It's in the top corner right below the off key. And type 3 fraction button 4 equals 625 power button 3 fraction button 4 equals. Does that give you 125? Anybody have a problem typing that? I'm going to go over the typing again. Okay. So you can't do anything to type in m to the 3/4. It's going to be left like that. You can't do anything if it's not a number. But if it is a number, you'll type it in and try to simplify that if you possibly can. Questions, concerns, anything so far? All I've done is show you a problem that's already worked out. We haven't done any work yet. I'm just showing you the rule. Okay? Let's apply it to problems. Okay? Starting off with 25 is our radicand. That's the number that's going to go inside of it. Our index is going to be what root it's to. So when we set this up, we're going to set up a square root check, a little check mark. The radicand is going to go on the inside at 25. The index on the outside is going to be, in this case, of 2. Now, guys, a 2 is always what that thing has on it. If you don't write the 2 there, it's the same thing as it being there. That's unusual. Usually when you don't write something, it's a 1. But this symbol itself, without any symbol number here, means square root. So you can write the 2, but you don't have to. Question so far, just writing it in radical form. Okay, now let's put it in rational exponent form. We're going to take this and we're going to put the 25 right here. The radicand's still going to be the number that's there. And then we're going to write a fraction on the outside. What is the power on a number when there's no number here? 1. That goes on top. The index on the outside goes on the bottom. There it is, 25 to the 1/2. Okay, grab your calculators. Type 25 power button 1 fraction button 2. 25 power button 1 fraction button 2. What's that give you? 5. Should be 5. If not, does anybody have a question on how to type that? 25 power button 1 fraction button 2 equals. Okay, let's do it again. Here we go. The radicand, the number on the inside is going to be 8. The root this time is going to have an index of 3. This is the cubed root. So we write the 8 on the number. The fraction is going to have what number on top, since there's nothing written there as an exponent? 1. The root or the index out here is going to be 3, so that's the bottom number. The one on the outside goes on the bottom, guys. And then type it. You have a calculator, do it. 8, power button, 1 fraction button 3 equals 8, power button, 1 fraction button 3. What's it equal? 2. Perfect. Okay, here we go again. The number that goes on the inside is 256, a to the 4th. We put our little check mark over it, and our index on the outside is 4. This is the 4th root of this. Okay, now guys, when you have more than one thing on the inside, you have to put a fraction for each one of them. The number's going to have a fraction, the variable's going to have a fraction. So when we write this, it's going to be 256, and it's going to have a fraction. What is the power on the 256? What's written right here? Nothing, so it's going to be 1. That is correct. There is no power there. When there's no power, it's assumed to be a 1. Just like every variable has a power of 1, every number has a power of 1, unless there's another power there. The index, or the number on the outside, is going to be 4, so it would be 256 to the 1/4. The a, on the other hand, is going to have what number on top for its power? 4. And the number on the bottom for the index is still going to be 4. Okay, guys, we got to simplify this. Let's use our calculators. Do 256 power button 1 fraction button 4 equals. What is 256 to the 1/4 power? 4. Okay, and then a, guys, you do have to simplify your fractions. If you've got 4 over 4, what's 4 over 4? 1. And do we write the power of 1 on anything? No, so it's just 4a. That is the simplified version of that. 4a. Okay, let's do it again, guys. Here we go. Take and set up your little check mark. The 32 to the 3rd power goes on the inside. And it is the 5th root. Okay, guys, before I can skip to the next thing, guys, if I have a number that is a power on the outside of a parentheses before I can try to set up my fractions, I need to multiply that power on power right here. Now, it's not going to change this one at all because the power on the 32 is a 1, and 1 times 3 would just be 3, but it could change it. If it was any other power, it could make it completely different. So I'm going to rewrite it real quick, and I'm going to write it as just 32 to the 3rd power. I'm going to distribute that 3 to everything inside that. There's only one thing inside there, guys, so it doesn't make it very different. And if I'm going to write that 32 as my radicand, as my base number right there, what's the fraction going to be on my 32? 3/5. Good. 3/5. And then type that in on your calculator, guys. 3, 2, power button 3, fraction button 5 equals. It surprised me. Wasn't the number I expected? What'd y'all get? 8. 8 is correct. Does anybody need me to type that again? Talk about how to type that in? Anybody have any concerns about typing that in on their calculator before we move on? No? Okay, guys. So the next section is going to be some examples for you to go through and be able to type these on your calculator. We actually had these already in the typing part of it, just not in the writing it and setting it up first. So here we go. 576, that's going to be 576 to the what power? What power is going to go on here? If there's nothing here, what number is going to go on top? 1. And guys, anytime you see this symbol, this is a square root symbol, what number is actually out here for the index, even though they don't write it? 2. So it'd be to the 1/2. Go ahead and grab your calculators and type that in. Y'all tell me what you get for an answer. 24? Okay, there you go. I don't have answers to this one, so. Okay, here we go on the next one. It'd be 256 to what power? What power would go here, guys? 1/4, 1 because there's no power right there, and 4 because the index is 4. Type 256 to the 1/4 on your calculator. Just 4? Okay. Good. All right, this one is going to be 121, and it's going to need a fraction. What would the fraction be if there's nothing here or here? 1/2. Nicely done. 1/2. 120. That's just the square root of 121, guys. You know what the square root of 121 is. What is it? 11. Okay, last one. 343. Okay, what would the power be on 343 as a fraction? 1/3. And then type that in on the calculator. What is 343? Sorry, guys. 343 to the 1/3. Just 7? Okay, perfect. There we go. Anything else on the front before we move to the back? We're just going to do more and more of the same thing, just writing it in different forms, and you just got to know what it's asking for. There's no new rules. Okay, let's keep going, guys. Anybody still writing? Okay, here we go. So we're going to write these in radical form. Guys, right now, they are not in radical form. Right now, they are written in that rational exponent form. We need to write them in radical form. Okay, we've got 81. There's no power on it. 81 is just going to be 81. Just 81. There's no reason to put it on a radical because it doesn't have any power on there. 81. And then you're going to write your little check mark. The S is going to go on the inside. Okay, what is the power on the S? The 2. The top number is the power on the S. What is the index or the root out here? 3. 2 goes on the inside. The top number goes on the inside. The bottom number goes on the outside, just so we're really clear on that. Seniors, okay. I've got seniors in my geometry class. I have to plan around their stuff. Okay, questions, concerns, anything about it? All you're doing is writing in the form, guys. There's nothing to do. Okay, let's do this again. On this next one, we have a power that is on the outside of a parentheses. That means it has to be distributed first. That means it's going to be 144 to the 1/2 and x to the 1/2. Since they're both to the 1/2, we grab our calculator, because the number part we go ahead and simplify. What's 144? Power button 1, fraction button 2. 144 to the 1/2 is what? 12. And then this one needs to be written in radical form. We're going to have to put the little check mark. The x goes on the inside. What power do I put on the x on the inside? Nothing. It's a 1, nothing. Thank you. And then on the outside, it's 2. Do I need to write anything there? No. If I do, if you write a 2, I'm not going to take off, guys. If you put a 2 right here, I won't take off for it. Excuse me. But if you don't, it's the same thing, because the square root symbol always has a 2 right there. Okay? Anybody have any questions before we keep going? All right, write the next one. 1296M. I have to distribute that 1/4 to both these. So 1296 to the 1/4 and M to the 1/4. Y'all have the calculators. What's 1296 power button 1 fraction button 4? What was it? 6? Yes? Okay. Just can't hear you. 6. Perfect. And then the M to the 1/4 we have to write under the radical. M's going to go here. Since it's got a 1 on top, we don't write anything here, but the index on the outside is going to be 4. Alright. Next one, the 2/3 has got to go to both of them. So it's going to be 125 to the 2/3 and A to the 2/3. Grab your calculators, guys. So it's 125 power button 2 fraction button 3 equals? I got two different answers. What was it? 25. Okay, put your check mark. Put the A on the inside. What goes on the power on the inside? On the outside? 3. Good. Perfect. Anybody have any questions, concerns, anything about the format? Nothing? Okay, guys. Anybody still writing? Okay. Here we go. Next ones. Guys, we're going to be writing these in exponential form. That means instead of having a radical, now I want it to have exponents. I don't want to leave the radical there. So the very first thing I've got to do, if I've got a parentheses, I've got to distribute the 4 to both of these. So I'm going to do that first. So I'm going to keep my little radical symbol. I'm going to make it 11 to the 4th and g to the 4th. Okay. Now I'm going to write them as fractions. It's going to be 11 to the 4 over. Guys, what's the bottom number if there's no number written out here on this index? 2. This is a 2 even though it doesn't say it. And then g to the 4 over 2. Okay, guys, grab your calculators. Type 11 power button, 4 fraction button 2 equals. It's also, what's 4 divided by 2, guys? 2. It's just 11 squared. You could type it either way. It doesn't matter. If you saw that, that's great. What's 11 to the 4 halves power? 121. Good. Anybody need me to retype that? That's good. Y'all sound like you're doing good on this. Okay. Then the next one is going to be g to the, what is 4 over 2 reduced to? 2. You have a calculator, we'll do that for you guys. Type 4 fraction button 2 equals, and it'll reduce it for you. There you go. Okay, let's do it again. Here we go. This 343 needs an exponent that's going to be a fraction. What goes on top if there's no exponent there? 1. And what goes on the bottom is going to be what's on the outside, which is 3. Then the y is going to be to the, again, the one on the inside goes on top, so it's going to be 4. And the one on the outside goes on the bottom, so it's going to be 3. Grab your calculators. Type 343, power button, 1 fraction button 3. Just 7? Okay. Y to the 4 thirds. Perfect. Okay. Let's do it again. Guys, the ones without the number here tend to mess people up. Just remember, if there's no number here on a radical like this, it's going to be a root 2. So this is going to be 100. The fraction on this is going to have a 1 because there's no exponent there. And then the outside number is a 2, so it's going to be to the 1/2 power. The D doesn't have anything on it, so the top number is going to be a 1. And the outside number is going to be a 2. Type that. What's 100 to the 1/2 power? 10. D to the 1/2. Okay. Last one of these. Each time we're just kind of doing a little bit different stuff, guys. Making sure you understand the rules. Like I'm twisting the rules to make it so you see every type of problem you can possibly see. Okay, guys. If you've got a parentheses, you got to distribute the 3 to everything inside here. So we write the radical again, keeping the 4 on the outside. We make it 625 to the 3rd power and x to the 3rd power. I'm distributing that 3 inside that parentheses. Then I'm going to take each one and I'm going to write the exponents as fractions, as rational numbers. The 3 is on the inside, so it goes on top. The 4 is on the outside, so it goes on the bottom. For the x, it's the same thing. The 3 is on the inside, so it goes on top. The 4 is on the outside, so it goes on the bottom. Type 625 power button 3 fraction button 4 equals. 625 power button 3 fraction button 4 equals. What is that number in front going to be? X to the 3/4. Good. Guys, y'all are doing great. I'm not having the reaction I thought I would, so that's good. Okay, anything before we keep going? Okay, this is going to start combining old with new. This is where we got to make sure you know the old rules. So guys, if you missed something in the old rules, now's a great time to ask. Here we go. It's going to deal with multiplying like bases. Multiplying like bases. Okay guys, we got a P here. We got a P here. What do you do with the exponents when you multiply like bases? Add them. So we're going to add these exponents. So grab your calculators and you're going to add 1/9 plus 2/9. 1/9 plus 2/9. What's 1/9 plus 2/9 equal when you reduce it? 1/3. Once you write it and combine it using exponents, then you're going to rewrite it in radical form, which we've already done. This is just taking and setting it up with our radical now. Once we go and do the old stuff, then you got to do the new stuff to it, which means you put the P on the inside. The power on it would be 1, so we don't write that there. And then on the outside, what would the number on the outside be? 3. Perfect. Hey guys, again, old stuff mixing with new. Here we go. We've got a power on the outside of a parentheses. You got to distribute to everything inside here. That means it's going to be c to the 3/4 times c to the 1/4 times d to the 1/4. Alright, here we go. When we multiply like bases, we add their exponents. We're adding 3/4 and 1/4. What is 3/4 plus 1/4? 1. So do we write 1 here? No, we just leave it as c. And then the d to the 1/4 doesn't have anything to combine with. We just write d to the 1/4 behind it. Okay, now we got to write this as a radical, guys. Alright, guys, is there a power on the c that needs to be turned? Do we have a fraction here? Is there a fraction on this c? No. So can we turn that into a radical? There's no fraction that's going to be on there. You're not going to have a fraction on there. You're not going to deal with that. That's going to stay on the outside. You've already simplified that. That's going to stay out here. The d, however, needs to go inside. That d is going to be to the 1/4 power. The 1's going to go on the inside, which we don't write, and the 4 is going to go on the outside. Anything on that one? Okay, here we go again. The 1/5 applies to both the things inside here. So that's going to be 32 to the 1/5. And then it's going to be b to the 1/5 times 243 to the 1/5 and b to the 1/5. Okay guys, grab your calculators. What's 32 to the 1/5? Just 2? 2 smaller than I expected. B to the 1/5. Multiplying that by 243 to the 1/5. 3. Do you see how much quicker that got big? That's 2 to the 1/5. That's 3. I mean, that's 2 to the 5th. That's 3 to the 5th. A lot bigger, a lot quicker. Okay, guys, let's remember old rules. If we're multiplying 2 times 3, that's the multiplication you've been doing since you were in like 3rd grade. 2 times 3 is just going to be 6. And then what do you do with the exponents when you multiply like bases? Add them. What is 1/5 plus 1/5? 2/5. 2/5. Now the last thing we've got to do is write it in radical form. You got to remember to put in whatever form it asks for, guys. That's the biggest thing. You'll know how to do it. You just got to know what form to leave it in. That's going to be 6 on the outside. It has no power that's an exponent, so we leave it on the outside. On the inside, you're going to have b. What's the power on the b on the inside going to be? 2. On the outside? 5. Good. Y'all are doing great on this. Okay, last one of these. Guys, 5 times 7 is the multiplication you've been doing forever. What's 5 times 7? 35. X to the, and then you need to add the exponents because you're multiplying like bases. 2 elevenths plus 6 elevenths is going to be 8 over 11. 8 elevenths. We're going to write the number that has got a rational exponent as a radical. So we're going to take it and do 35 on the outside. We're going to put our radical symbol. We're going to put the x on the inside. What is the power on the inside on the x? 8. And on the outside? 11. Good. Nicely done, guys. Okay, I think we only have one section left. Is that correct? The add and subtracting?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, guys. When you add and subtract, you have to have like terms. That has not changed. That's still the truth. Unless you have the exact same variable raised to the exact same power, you cannot add or subtract them. Say that again. You have to have the exact same variable raised to the exact same powers. Let's write them first as exponents, and then we'll see if we can add or subtract them. Here we go. It's going to be 7. N to the, what power is going to go here based on this radical? Guys, inside number goes on the top. It's going to be 4. Outside number is going to go on the bottom. It's going to be 3. So it'd be 7n to the 4/3 plus n to the what? 4/3. Guys, do they have the exact same power? Can I add them then? If they're the same power, the answer is yes. What I'm adding is the numbers in front. The numbers in front are going to be 7 and, what number is really here? 1. So that's going to make 7 plus 1, which is going to be 8 n to the 4/3. 8 n to the 4/3. It says leave it in exponent form. So we're leaving it in exponent form. Okay, let's do it again. 5 is on the outside. C goes next to it. What is the power that's going to go on this C? 4/5. Good. Minus 3. C to the, what's the power on this C? 1/5. Can I add and subtract them? Add or subtract them when I have different powers on my variables. So can I do anything beyond this point? No, this would be my answer. This whole thing, because I cannot add and subtract them because they do not have the same power, this is where I would stop. This would be my final answer. They're not like terms, guys. If they're not like terms, you can't add and subtract them. Okay, let's do it again. So it's going to be 1,000 to the, what number's on the inside right here if we don't have a number? 1. So it'd be to the 1/3. E to the 7/3 minus 128 to the, what power's on there for the 128? 1/7. And e to the 5/7. Good. Okay, guys, grab your calculators. What is 1,000 to the 1/3 power? 10. E to the 7/3 minus what is 128 to the 1/7 power? 2. E to the 5/7. Can I add those two things or subtract those two things? No, they're not the same power. That's it. I'm done at that point. I can't simplify it anymore. I can't combine them. They do not have the same power on them. Okay. This last one kind of is, you got to be careful because it has parentheses with this 2 in here, and people are going to forget to distribute that 2 to both the numbers inside here before they start. That's going to be rewritten then as the 125 squared and the y squared, and the other one doesn't change at all, so we just rewrite the other one just like it is. Again, all I'm doing is distributing that power of 2 to both the things that are inside that parentheses. Both things inside the parentheses, that number has to go to both of them. So far, any questions? Okay, then you rewrite it just like we did the others. 125 to the 2/3 power, y to the 2/3 power, plus 16 to the, what power goes on the 16, guys? 1/4 power, nicely done. And y to the 3/4 power. Okay, grab your calculators. What's 125 to the 2/3 power? 125 to the 2/3 power. 25. Y to the 2/3 plus, what is 16 to the 1/4 power? 2. Y to the 3/4. Can I add those two terms together? No, they have different exponents on the variables, so that is the way you leave your answer. Okay, guys, any questions? No? Okay, so because of time, I want to go ahead and give you the worksheet and let you try a few. See if we can get a few in. So, we have 2 assignments that I have to key up for on the board, but I'm going to send it out to you on Remind, just because of time constraints. So if you have questions on those, you can ask them on Remind, or you can ask them in here tomorrow on our review day. If you will have time tomorrow to ask. Put your name, date, period, and assignment number, 4 at the top of this. And what time do we get out of here, guys? 19. So get packed up once you get that in there. But label it. Label it now while you got a pencil out. Name, date, period, assignment number 4. Name, date, period, assignment number 4. And guys, I didn't check your ones from over the break. Make sure you have this one done. I'm definitely checking this tomorrow. Bye, guys.